What if I told you that meteorologists are watching atmospheric blocking patterns over Scandinavia that could lock the eastern United States into a deep freeze for the entire month of January? What if I told you we're not looking at one Arctic blast, but three separate waves of dangerous cold, each one potentially colder than the last? You'd probably want to know when, where, and how to prepare, and that's exactly what I'm about to tell you. At minute 320, I'm revealing the specific atmospheric setup that hasn't occurred during the Christmas to New Year's period since 2017. And by minute 5, you'll understand why week 2 of January, specifically January 9th through 15th, could bring the most dangerous cold of the entire winter season. Let me start with a number that defies belief. 150 inches. That's how much additional snow is forecast for the Sierra Nevada mountains between now and Saturday morning. 150 inches is 12.5 feet. Some isolated peaks could see 13 or 14 feet. To put that in perspective, a regulation basketball hoop is 10 feet tall. We're talking about snow that would bury a basketball hoop with 2 feet to spare. This isn't a snowstorm, this is a snow burial, and it's happening right now. But here's what most people don't understand. That Sierra Nevada snow is just the visible manifestation of something much larger. An atmospheric river carrying moisture at 350% above normal levels is slamming into California. 350%? That's not a weather event. That's an atmospheric fire hose aimed at the West Coast. Downtown Los Angeles is under a high-risk warning for life-threatening flash flooding. The Weather Prediction Center only issues high-risk warnings about 4 times per year across the entire country. This is extreme, this is rare, this is dangerous. 1 to 2 inches of rain per hour is falling right now in parts of Southern California, and it's not stopping. Christmas Day tomorrow, same thing. Thursday the 26th, still going. 48 to 60 hours of relentless precipitation. The ground is saturated. It can't absorb any more water. Every additional drop runs off. And when water runs off in hill country, especially in burn scar areas from recent wildfires, you get debris flows, mudslides, walls of mud and rocks moving at 35 miles per hour. In Proverbs 27:12, we read, "The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty." If you live in vulnerable areas of California, seeing danger means having evacuation bags packed and routes planned. Not next week, right now. Because when debris flows start, you measure your escape time in minutes, not hours. Now let me talk about wind, because this atmospheric river isn't just bringing moisture, it's bringing hurricane-force winds to the mountains. 70 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts in the higher elevations of the Sierra Nevada. When you combine wind speeds like that with heavy snow, you get whiteout conditions, complete zero visibility, absolute disorientation. People die in these conditions every year. They think they can make a quick trip from their cabin to their car and they get turned around in the whiteout. They're found hours later, sometimes days later, just yards from safety. If you're in the mountains right now, you're not leaving until next week. Accept it, stock up, hunker down. Trying to travel in these conditions is suicidal. Interstate 80, closed or death trap. Highway 50, same. Donner Pass, absolutely impassable. These aren't roads anymore. They're snow trenches with zero visibility and hurricane-force winds. Now here's where this story takes a dramatic turn. Because while California is getting pummeled by Pacific moisture, a very different weather pattern is setting up for the rest of the country. Massive high pressure is building over the central United States. This ridge is going to pump warm air northward from the Gulf of Mexico, bringing record heat to the southern plains and Gulf Coast. Dallas could hit 80 degrees on Christmas Day. 80 degrees. Wichita Falls, Waco, Brownsville, all across Texas, temperatures in the 70s and 80s. The Gulf Coast, the Carolinas, all seeing record or near record warmth. This is the last gasp of warm air before everything changes. Because while this ridge pumps warm air north over the southern United States, it's simultaneously forcing bitterly cold Arctic air to build over Western Canada, Yukon, British Columbia, Northwest Territories, Alberta, temperatures are running 40 to 50 degrees below normal. 40 to 50 degrees. Let that sink in. If normal is 10 degrees, we're talking minus 30 to minus 40. These are dangerous, life-threatening temperatures. And that Arctic air is coming south in 3 waves, 3 separate invasions, each one bringing colder air further south than the previous wave. This is the pattern I promised to reveal. And understanding this pattern is absolutely critical to preparing for the next 3 weeks. Wave 1 arrives this weekend, December 28th and 29th. Cold air floods into the northeast and southeastern Canada. This fuels our first significant winter storm. Snow across New York State, ice across Pennsylvania and Maryland. Lake effect cranks up downwind of the Great Lakes. This wave brings cold, but it's actually the warmest of the 3 Arctic blasts, which should tell you something about what's coming after. Wave 2 arrives December 29th and 30th, just before New Year's Eve. This is bigger, stronger, and colder than Wave 1. It brings wind-driven snow to Ontario and Quebec, heavy snow possible for New England, and genuinely dangerous cold to the entire eastern half of the United States. New Year's Eve midnight in New York City, wind chills around 20 degrees. That's actually not bad compared to further north. Toronto and Montreal, wind chills below 0. Southeastern Canada, sub-zero wind chills across huge areas. If you're going out to celebrate New Year's, dress in serious winter gear, multiple layers, hat, gloves, scarf. This is not the night to underdress for fashion. Exposed skin can develop frostbite in these conditions. Wave 3 arrives in early January, and here's where it gets really interesting. This third wave could be the coldest and most persistent of the 3. And it's being reinforced by atmospheric blocking patterns that are setting up over the northern hemisphere. We're seeing blocking develop over Scandinavia. When blocking sets up there, it tends to redirect the jet stream in ways that favor cold air delivery to North America. We're also seeing potential blocking on both sides of Greenland. This is called a negative North Atlantic oscillation, or negative NAO. When the NAO goes negative, the eastern United States typically experiences below normal temperatures and increased storm activity. Here's what makes this setup particularly significant. Both of these blocking patterns, Scandinavian blocking and negative NAO, can persist for weeks once they establish. We're not talking about a 3-day cold snap. We're talking about a potential regime change that could dominate the entire month of January. Now, here are the 3 critical actions you must take this week. Action 1. Conduct a cold weather vulnerability assessment. Walk through your home and identify weak points. Are there pipes in unheated spaces? Are there drafts around windows and doors? Is your heating system working efficiently? Do you have backup heat if your primary system fails? Address these vulnerabilities now while you still can. A burst pipe in mid-January when temperatures are below 0 is a nightmare scenario. Prevention is infinitely easier than repair. Action 2. Build layered emergency systems. Don't just have one solution for each problem, have multiple backups. For heat, have your primary system plus a secondary option like a fireplace or generator, plus a tertiary option like a friend's house you can go to. For power, have flashlights plus candles plus battery-powered lanterns plus a generator if possible. For communication, have your phone plus a battery-powered radio plus written emergency contacts. Layered systems mean that when one fails, you have others to fall back on. Action 3. Create a January action plan. Don't wait until mid-January to figure out how you'll handle sustained cold. Decide now. How much firewood will you need? How much heating fuel? What supplies should you stock? Write it down. Make a list. Start acquiring what you need now while stores are stocked and roads are passable. In 2 Timothy 1:7, Paul writes, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." Using your sound mind to plan ahead isn't fear, it's wisdom. It's stewardship. It's responsibility. Let me give you a detailed timeline for the next 2 weeks because understanding the sequence helps you prepare for each phase. Today, Christmas Eve, California atmospheric river at peak intensity. Heavy rain, heavy snow, strong winds, flash flooding, mudslides, power outages spreading across the state. 116,000 already without power. That number will increase dramatically. Tomorrow, Christmas Day, California's storms continue unabated. Same intensity, same dangers. Meanwhile, the rest of the country enjoys record warmth. 80s in Texas, 70s across the Gulf Coast and Carolinas. This is the last warm day for a long time. Enjoy it! Friday, December 26th, California's storms finally begin to weaken and shift south. High pressure starts building over the Pacific Northwest. Meanwhile, the first winter storm organizes across the Great Lakes. Ice develops across northern Minnesota and Wisconsin. Friday night into Saturday, ice zone expands into Michigan, up to a quarter-inch accumulation in lower Michigan. Snow overspreads New York State. Buffalo, Watertown, Albany, New York City, all seeing accumulating snow. Ice shifts into Pennsylvania and Maryland. Baltimore, Philadelphia, Trenton, Washington, D.C., all watching for freezing rain. Saturday, December 27th, first winter storm moves offshore, but the impacts linger. Power outages across the ice belt, difficult travel, Arctic air begins pouring in behind the storm. Sunday and Monday, December 28th and 29th, first Arctic blast fully arrives. Temperatures crash into the teens in single digits. Lake effect snow cranks up downwind of Lakes Erie and Ontario. Buffalo could see feet of snow in narrow bands. Wind chills below zero across most of the Northeast. Tuesday, December 30th, second winter storm approaches. This one tracks further north, bringing heavy snow to Ontario and Quebec. Southern portions of this system could clip northern New England with additional snow. New Year's Eve, December 31st, second Arctic blast arrives. This is colder than the first wave. Wind-driven snow across southeastern Canada. Dangerous cold, spreading across entire eastern half of United States. If you're celebrating outdoors, prepare for legitimate winter conditions. New Year's Day, January 1st, brutal cold continues, wind chills making it feel much colder than actual air temperatures, high temperatures struggling to reach the teens in many locations. Single-digit highs not uncommon across upper Midwest. First week of January, potential for third winter storm. Details are fuzzy this far out, but patterns support storm development. Third Arctic blast arrives behind this storm, potentially bringing the coldest air of the entire season. That's your 14-day outlook. Multiple storms, multiple Arctic blasts, sustained cold. Now, let me break down what's expected for January week by week, because this is where the long-range pattern gets fascinating. Week 1, January 1st through 8th. The polar vortex begins shifting to our side of the hemisphere. Coldest air stays mostly in western Canada and Alaska, but cold shots are definitely possible in the northern United States. Clipper systems bring light to moderate snow to the northern tier. Great Lakes see consistent lake effect. Week 2, January 9th through 15th. This is the critical week, the week I mentioned in my opening. The polar vortex is firmly on our side of the hemisphere now. Western Canada sees brutally cold temperatures. That cold starts making aggressive pushes into the northern United States and even the Ohio Valley. This is when we could see the coldest air of the entire winter. Temperature anomalies of 30 to 40 degrees below normal are possible. Actual air temperatures in the -20s in parts of the upper Midwest. Wind chills of -40 to -50. At these temperatures, exposed skin freezes in less than 5 minutes. Being outdoors is genuinely dangerous. Schools close, businesses close, society basically shuts down until temperatures moderate. Snow potential increases significantly during this week. Upper Midwest, Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, Northeast all see active weather. Multiple clipper systems, lake effect snow, possibly a larger coastal storm. Week 3, January 16th through 23rd. The cold air that invaded during Week 2 starts making pushes further south. The Ohio Valley to Northeast corridor sees frequent snowstorms. Even the Mid-Atlantic gets more involved. Meanwhile, the Southwest begins to moderate and warm up. We could see significant snowstorms during this week affecting major population centers. New York, Philadelphia, Boston, Washington, D.C., all in play for winter weather. Week 4, January 24th through 31st. The pattern solidifies. Cold air dominates the east, mild air dominates the west. Alaska stays cold. And here's the really interesting part. If the cold air is strong enough in the east, we could see snow potential extending as far south as Virginia, Tennessee, North Carolina, even northern Georgia. Southern snow is never a guarantee. The setup has to be perfect, but the pattern during late January could support it. If you live in the South and you dream of snow, don't give up hope. The second half of January could deliver. What does all this mean for your daily life? It means January is going to be challenging, really challenging, especially if you live in the eastern two-thirds of the country. Energy bills are going to spike. When you have sustained cold for weeks, heating systems run constantly. Natural gas and electricity consumption goes way up. Budget accordingly. Travel disruptions are likely. Snow days, school closings, flight cancellations, delayed deliveries. When winter patterns get this active, normal routines get interrupted frequently. Infrastructure gets tested. Water mains can freeze and burst. Roads develop frost heaves. Power grids get stressed by high demand. And mentally, sustained winter weather wears on people. The cold, the dark, the disruption, it affects mood and energy. Be aware of this. Check on people. Reach out. Stay connected. In Romans 15:1-2, Paul writes, "We who are strong ought to bear with the failings of the weak and not to please ourselves. Each of us should please our neighbors for their good, to build them up." Winter is when the strong help the weak, when those with resources share with those without, when communities come together to support vulnerable members. Be strong for others, and let others be strong for you when you need it. Let me address specific cities one more time with focus on what you need to prepare for. Los Angeles, you're in emergency mode through Saturday. Life-threatening flash flooding, debris flows, mudslides, power outages. This is not a drill. Have evacuation routes ready. Know where you're going if you have to leave. San Francisco, similar situation. This atmospheric river is hitting the entire California coast. Heavy rain, strong winds, coastal flooding. Stay informed. Stay safe. Reno and Lake Tahoe, you're getting buried. Interstate 80 is going to be closed for extended periods. If you're in the mountains, you're stuck until next week. Accept it and prepare accordingly. Boise, you're getting feet of snow. 2 to 4 feet possible in the mountains. Travel in Idaho is going to be extremely difficult through the weekend. Minneapolis ice storm Friday night, then brutal cold. This is a 1-2 punch. Prepare for both. Power outages are likely. Have backup heat ready. Milwaukee, Detroit, Cleveland, all of you are in the ice belt. Quarter-inch accumulations possible. That's enough to cripple infrastructure. Expect problems. Have supplies for extended outages. Chicago, you're in a transition zone. Could be ice, could be snow, could be a mix. Either way, impacts will be significant. Don't underestimate this. Buffalo, you know what's coming. Lake effect Sunday and Monday. Then more lake effect later next week. Then, probably more the week after. January is going to bury you. Stock up on milk and bread now. New York City, several inches of snow Saturday, then dangerous cold Sunday and Monday, then potentially more snow next week. This is an active pattern. Stay on top of forecasts. Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., you're all watching for ice Saturday morning. Northern and western suburbs most at risk, then cold, then potentially more winter weather next week. Boston, you're on the fringe of Saturday's storm, but could get hit harder by subsequent systems. Don't let your guard down just because the first storm misses you. Toronto and Montreal, you're getting hammered repeatedly. Multiple storms, dangerous cold, high winds. This is a brutal stretch. Stay safe up there. Now let me close with some final thoughts. We're entering a period of sustained, active, dangerous winter weather. Multiple storms, multiple Arctic blasts. Conditions that will test infrastructure, challenge communities, and require resilience from everyone. But here's the truth. You can handle this. With proper preparation, with community support, with faith in God's provision, you can weather this pattern successfully. Don't panic, but don't be complacent either. Take this seriously. Prepare thoroughly. Help your neighbors. Stay informed. And remember that this, like all weather patterns, is temporary. Winter doesn't last forever. Cold moderates. Storms pass. Spring comes. It always does. What matters is how we respond to challenges. Do we isolate or connect? Do we hoard or share? Do we complain or persevere? These weeks ahead are opportunities to demonstrate character, to show kindness, to practice faith in action. In Galatians 6:2, Paul writes, "Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ." Winter gives us burdens to carry, heavy snow to shovel, cold to endure, disruptions to manage. We can carry these burdens alone, or we can help each other. Choose community. Choose connection. Choose to be the person who helps rather than the person who needs help. And when you need help, let others serve you. That's community working both ways. Stay informed as this pattern develops. Forecasts will update. Storms will track. New information will emerge. Check forecasts daily, even multiple times per day during active periods. Stay prepared with supplies, backup systems, and plans for various scenarios. The time to prepare is before you need it. Stay connected to your community, your neighbors, your faith community. We're all in this together. And stay faithful. Trust that God is with you through every storm, every cold snap, every challenge. He walks with you. He provides. He sustains. California, survive your atmospheric river. This is life-threatening weather. Take it seriously. Everyone else, prepare for your winter pattern. Multiple storms, dangerous, cold, active weather through January. May God watch over you through what's coming. May He give wisdom, strength, and protection. May we all emerge stronger, kinder, and more connected. Stay warm, stay safe, stay faithful. This is your comprehensive winter outlook. Share it, act on it, and know that you're going to be okay. Until the next update, be wise, be kind, be faithful.